Yeah, that's enough of us gushing over Pikmin 3 and how much we love it, but let's move on to the black sheep of the series. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I actually kind of really like this game.
I don't like it as much as you do, because I will say at some points I find it boring, but I will say that I don't hate it. Like, I like, there are some people who hate it. I'm not one of those people who hate it.
Yeah.
I think as its own spin-off, I will say I'm glad that finally we got Pikmin DS, which was supposed to happen a long time ago. So I'm glad that we finally got a Pikmin DS game.
Yeah. So, the bosses in this game are weird.
Yeah, and they're not the same, like...
They have a very different feel.
Yeah, especially since Hey Pikmin decided to, like, here's how we normally design enemies, and now let's introduce enemies that have a completely different design.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's a different design team or something, but, like, a lot of them, I'm like, wait, these are Pikmin enemies?
Yeah, they do feel kind of out of place, with a couple exceptions, and we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
So let's start off with the red Bullboard. Honestly, D? It's not bad. There's nothing wrong with this boss fight. It's a normal enemy, so the design is just something that Pikmin fans have already seen before. Mm-hmm. And how you fight it, I mean, it's a first boss in a 2D platformer. It's really not much more or less than that.
Well, the thing is, I like that it's like, okay, cool. It's a Bullboard, but they don't add anything to it. It's just
a Bullboard. And I don't hate it. It's just not particularly stand out.
Yeah.
So D.
Yeah. I think that's a fair place.
It's a harmless first boss. Now, this thing, and I have the names pulled up here because I was never gonna remember all of these.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna remember these names.
The long water Dumple. Honestly, I think another D.
I will say that I like how you have to fight this one entirely underwater. I will say I like that, but it's not very, like, memorable.
My problem with this one is because of how slow Olimar moves in this game.
Yeah, it was very slow boss fight.
And my problem with it is not necessarily because it's slow paced, but because this thing lunges at you so fast. You need to, like, preemptively be moving out of the way, and if you're not, it's almost impossible to do this without losing any Pikmin.
I mean, it's not like how in Pikmin 3 you can, like, press on the D-pad and dodge. You can't do that in this game.
That's honestly making it sound a lot harder than it is, because it's really not that difficult, but, like...
Yeah.
This is one of the trickier bosses to do without losing any Pikmin for that reason, because Olimar's just so slow.
Yeah.
And, again, it's just kind of meh. It exists.
Yeah. It's there, but it's not much to talk about.
Now, the third boss, the Armurk, apparently, I don't know how to feel about this one. I'm thinking either C or D because I like it, but also, like, I feel like there should be more to it than there is.
It reminds me of how Pikmin 3 has the first boss, how it climbs on the wall and stuff.
Yeah.
But I will say, there's not really much going on. It seems like a very basic gameplay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this idea has been done in so many games, like Kirby, Mario. It's the same thing of goes up the wall, it rolls, hit it, rinse and repeat. That's it.
Yeah. And I think the biggest problem with me for this one is that, like, I feel like it dies before it really has the chance to do anything that sets it apart from those bosses that you mentioned that do very similar things.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll put it...
It needs a second phase sort of thing.
Yeah, it does. It needs a second phase. It dies too quick. I think I'm going to put it in the top of D tier because I see potential here, but it's not capitalized on at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this next one... This one I actually kind of like. The Electric Cottonade?
I see. Yeah, this one was good.
I kind of like this one. What really makes this one, it's not that it stands out, like, super, super good, but, like, what makes this one interesting is that, like, it really utilizes, and I know a lot of games do this too, but, like, so this is not a Hey Pikmin exclusive thing. This is not anything that no boss before has ever done, but, like, it really does a good job of utilizing both screens of the 3DS.
Yeah.
Because you have to aim the yellows off screen.
Yeah. I like that. I liked, I just kind of liked how it was like a cloud, like a cotton ball with like electricity. I like the design.
I like the design,
nice.
but this kind of brings me back to what you were saying before about how sometimes these just don't feel like Pikmin enemies. This is one of them. I like the design, but it does feel kind of out of place.
The thing is, Pikmin has a very specific art style.
Yeah.
It has there's some things that just scream Pikmin.
Yeah.
Like the Bullboard or the Water Wraith.
Yeah.
Like, they scream Pikmin. And then this, like, if you showed it to me, I would think, is that from, like, Kirby?
Yeah, you could easily mistake this for another game.
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't scream out to me that it's Pikmin.
That being said, the fight itself is pretty decent, actually. I think I'm going to pick this one in B.
Alright. Sounds good.
Alright, the Queen Shearwig.
Shearwig. Oh, like shear grubs and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. I think I'll put this in C.
Yeah, I like how we have a giant shear grub. I do like that. But
I do like how it's very clearly supposed to be like an homage to the Scornet Maestro.
Yes, I do like that. I like how you have to fly. One thing I really liked about Hey Pikmin is I did like how you could fly with Wing Pikmin.
Yes.
I did like that. I thought that was such a great inclusion. And honestly, some of my favorite levels in the game.
Yeah, some of my favorite levels in the game were the ones where
Wing.
you're just like floating down and you had to like glide around.
The entire game to me was very, very easy. And some levels I found very boring. But the Wing Pikmin levels stand out. And I remember there's like one where you have to travel the entire level with wings.
Yes.
And you have a limited amount of wings. And like if you lose them, you're that's it.
Yeah, like
that
you can't fall back
level.
down. That one was cool.
That was hard. I liked it.
And this boss is just like, it capitalizes on that. And I really liked, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to bump this up to B, actually.
Yeah. I think
I actually kind of like this. I like this one.
Yeah.
The design is pretty basic, but the fight itself is pretty cool. Now, the Fiery Blowhog. I'm going to be honest, I don't like this one. I really don't.
It's basically another one of those, let's take a normal, iconic enemy, make it into a boss with no changes.
Yes, but actually no. And, like, the thing that makes this one, I'm putting it in the bottom of D tier. It's not quite F, because it's not awful, and I don't dread it, and I don't hate it. But,
yeah.
You know what? Let me just go ahead and rename F tier to Man at Legs. There we go. That gets its own tier, because it sucks. And I hate it. Man at Legs. You have your own tier because you make me want to cry. The Fiery Blowhog. My problem with this boss is that what you're supposed to do is, and again, this is things that other games have done many times before, so it's not anything special. When it's like sucking up air, you have to throw a bomb rock into it. The problem with that is that on the first phase, it's not that bad. The second and third one, it starts to get a little bit annoying because he doesn't suck right away. That sounds really way worse than it did in my head.
Don't take that out of context, people.
But what he does is he spews fire before he does that. And if that even remotely touches the bomb rock, you will lose Pikmin.
Oh,
and it's
my God.
very tricky to avoid.
I forgot about that.
It's very, very tricky to make sure. Like, it does not feel like there's any consistent way to make sure that the Pikmin carrying the bomb rock are not gonna get hit by that.
I remember.
You just kind of have to. You just kind of have to run away and pray that a fireball doesn't hit it. And if it does, you're screwed. There's very little you can do about it.
Yeah, I think it's because they introduced bomb rocks, and we all know that bomb rocks are hit or miss with their Pikmin squad.
Don't very much like bomb rocks. They make me sad.
Bomb rocks. Whenever you have to use them, I'm always wary because I'm like, well,
they always put me on edge. Like it just feels like I could lose half my squad because of something that's not my fault. And this boss is a really good example of that because sometimes a fireball will just fall conveniently directly on the one Pikmin off by himself that's carrying the bomb rock. And you'll just be like, really? You had to go after that one? Of all of all the rest of us are all over here, and you had to single out that one. And it's just stuff like that makes it kind of frustrating. It's not that bad, but like, it's the only boss in the game that kind of has that frustratingness to it. Now, the Luring Slurker?
Yes, the Luring Slurker. This one, man, this one does use the 2 screens, and then it uses like ice.
Yes.
It uses like water and ice and stuff. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't really remember this one.
Neither do I. And honestly, I think I know why. Because
why?
You like replayed the bosses in preparation for this video, right?
Yeah.
Because I did that too, because I barely remembered them, honestly. Like, I think the problem with this boss, and I distinctly remember thinking this when I was replaying them like a week ago, and this boss fight is not dynamic at all. What we were saying before with the arm arc and how, like, there's a couple cool ideas here and that really would have benefited from a second phase. This is a similar problem because, like, it doesn't change what it does.
Yeah.
Ever. Like you would think at the very, very least it would like do another attack before it makes itself vulnerable, but no, it just does the same thing immediately again.
Hey Pikmin has a problem with his bosses where they should have a second phase,
but they don't.
No, because the thing is, Hey Pikmin does differently with bosses. In normal Pikmin games, it's like you have a big open area, they'll spawn at any time or whatever like that. With this, it's very much like
you're getting into a boss fight.
Yeah, it's a boss fight, you beat it, levels over, etc. So it needs different phases.
But they don't have them.
It needs that.
Because every single boss in this game is way too short.
Yeah,
they could have been really cool, but they're over in like 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, Emperor Bullblax.
Emperor Bullblax.
This is literally just the final boss of Pikmin 1 and 2D.
Yeah.
With the same benefits and problems as the final boss of Pikmin 1. Because the Pikmin just like throw bomb rock? Yes, please throw it. Throw bomb rock? Is it okay to throw bomb rock? Please throw it, you're going to die. Yes. I won't throw it, but I'll just stand here and wait to be consumed. I'll be like, no, you dumbass, what are you doing?
Pikmin AI with bomb rocks.
They don't know what they're doing with these things. They really don't.
It's like giving a child a bomb. Don't do it.
The problem with it, I think this is the main problem, is that like in every game where you can use bomb rocks, they hesitate. They hesitate where you need them to act quick.
I know, they're like, should I throw it? Should I?
And then by the time they throw it, they don't have enough time to get away, and then they die.
No.
So like, I think I'm gonna put this one also in D tier, above the Fiery Blowhog, but because like, with the Fiery Blowhog, that can take out like half your squad because of something that's not your fault. With this, at worst, you lose like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Now, contrary to what we've been saying for the last couple of entries, the final boss has several phases, and I actually really like it.
Thing is, this boss, first time I played, I don't remember what phase it was on, but I could not figure out how to beat it. I died so many times on this boss before figuring out how to defeat it.
This is the only boss in the game that's challenging for a valid reason.
Yeah, it's challenging, and I like how it's like, after defeating all those other bosses, which were really easy, getting to this one, it was like, whoa, wait, challenge time?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Heck yeah.
All of a sudden, the game ramped up, and Flame Shield here, but I think I'm gonna put this in S.
S? Interesting.
Yeah, I like this thing.
I'd say good boss. I really like, though, how after you beat it, it's like a little tiny Plasm Wraith comes out and is like, hi, and then runs away. It's like, wait, what?
This is a really, really obscure and really strange comparison, but have you ever seen Danny Phantom?
As a child, I did. I don't remember it.
It
too
reminds
much.
it reminds me of Skulker, because Skulker is like this really menacing, like skeleton-looking dude, and then you find out later in the show he's this little blob piloting like a giant mech.
Well, the thing is, I like that. I like how you beat it, and that's like the plot twist. But then it also makes me think, like, in the lore of the game, like, how does this relate to the Plasm Wraith and Water Wraith?
Well, this thing is, it's neither of those things. It's a leech. That's what it is. It's a parasite, and it's infecting a plant.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. It's kind of similar to the parasitic Pikmin that turn into the Bulbmin.
Yeah,
or they possess them.
That's what this is. That's actually a real thing, by the way. If you didn't know about that, like
I do know. There's like a plant that can take over ants.
Yes.
And stuff.
Yes. That's a real thing in nature, and it's horrifying, but that does exist.
It's scary, man.
But honestly, I think I'm going to put this in S tier because it's the best boss in the game by a significant margin.
Yes, it is the best.
And I think what makes it so memorable to me is that, like, this game has kind of, like, encouraged you to be like, the boss is over now. That was a lot shorter than you thought. And then, like, you get to this one and you're just like, it's still not dead? Like, it keeps surprising you. And I like that.
I did like that. I did like how surprising it was, and it was very difficult the first time.
Because, like, it starts out, you're just like, oh, this is just like a little plant. It doesn't really move. And then you beat it, and you're just like, surely that can't be it. There's got to be a second phase. And then there is a second phase, and it comes out of the ground, and you're just like, what? Okay, that's cool, I guess. And then you defeat it again, and you're just like, okay, that was a pretty nice twist for a final boss. And then it gets up again and grows wings and starts flying, and you're just like, whoa, okay. I was so surprised. That happened.
That definitely ended the game on a good note.
It catches you so off guard in a good way. I really like it. And
I like it too. It is the best game in the...
I honestly think that the final boss of Hey Pikmin is like the highlight of the game. It might just be like my favorite part of the game.
Oh, for sure. That is a very memorable part for me in the game.
It's just like this is what I play Pikmin for. Like exciting, very large boss fights that really weren't even really done all that much.
Mm-hmm.
And yet a 2D game somehow got that right.
The black sheep of the series
took a while for it to get there, but it did get there and it paid off.
4 games later, we finally.
So yeah, that's our ranking of the bosses in all the Pikmin series. So in S tier, we got the Water Wraith, Plasm Wraith, Ranging Bloister, Titan Dweevil, and Berserk Leech Hydro. I think that's how you pronounce that.
Wow, big name.
In A, we got the Smoky Prog, the Puffstool, Armored Cannon Beetle, the Behemoth Phosbat, Scornet Maestro, and Quaggled Myreclops. I still love that name. B tier, we got the Shaggy Longlegs, Beady Longlegs, Emperor Bulblax, the Armored Maudad. What is that thing called again? I forget.
Crawdad?
Bug-Eyed Crawmad.
Yeah.
Electric Cottonade and Queen Cheerwig. Then we got the Burrowing Snagret, the Pileated Snagret, the Empress Bulblax, I gotta look up that name because I don't remember it, the Segmented Crobster, the Sand-Belching Mere Slug, and whatever that thing is from Hey Pikmin, I don't remember. Luring Slurker. Then in D, we got the Armork, the Giant Breadbug, Gulix, the Raging Longlegs, which is really not all that raging, the Red Bulborb, the Long Water Dumple, I think? Yes, Long Water Dumple. Emperor Bulblax from Hey Pikmin, and the Fiery Blowhog, and then Man-Up-Legs is in its own tier because I hate it and it makes me want to die.
I love how that's the only thing we put in F tier, so it just became its own category.
I don't like him. Who gave him a weapon? Why? Who thought that was okay?
Everything else is like organic, like creatures and stuff. They're all tree, they're all leafy, and then
this long leg boy over here is just like
gave me a gun.
He's just like, but what if gun? What could go wrong? Thanks, nature, please. Whatever higher powers that be, do not ever create anything like this. I will panic. I will have a panic attack, and I will freak out, and I will be very upset. Please,
Imagine
nature, please refrain from creating this.
Imagine if, like, cockroaches had, like, tiny little laser guns and stuff. Like, that'd be terrible.
No. exterminate them, genocide, get them out of my planet permanently. That has no place here. I don't like it. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the Pikmin bosses. Is there anything you want to say before I stop the recording?
I just want to say that it was really fun, and I was glad to be here and talk about Pikmin, because I love talking about Pikmin. And yeah, I'm glad that the Pikmin series is starting to get the attention it deserves.
I'm really glad that, like, I got you in on this, because, like, there's so few people I know that like Pikmin. Like,
Really?
I mean, like, it's not that everyone I know hates Pikmin or anything like that. It's just, like, I don't know anybody that's, like, into it, if that makes any sense. Like,
I will say that, yeah. I'm like super passionate about Pikmin.
Most people I know are just like, I played it. Pikmin's a decent game. It's fun, but like, this is I literally named myself after this. I love it.
It's fantastic. It's my second favorite series after Zelda, and besides you being passionate about Pikmin, I think the only other person I know who's this passionate is Bushi, and that's because I got him into the series, and that's it. So
yeah, this world needs more Pikmin fans. So please, if you've never played a Pikmin game and this video has encouraged you, I encourage you, go get Pikmin 3 Deluxe. It's a fantastic place to start.
You do not have to play the other games before Pikmin 3.
Pikmin 3 is the single best entry point in the series by a significant margin. It is such a very good balance between the time limit of the first game and the lenientness of the second game. And it's not an absolute dickhead like the second game.
And also, it's got a really good story, and it's got cutscenes and stuff.
Yes, it does. It's very, very newcomer friendly. So if the number 3 in that title is making you hesitate, please, I encourage you, give it a try. You will not be disappointed.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you for whatever I decide to do next. See ya.
Bye.